think No Rest for the Wicked right now has the best isometric combat. And I don't even think it's close. It's really, really good.
Stated Path of Exile 2, even in early access, will boast a wealth of content, a brand new engine, an expansive endgame, and more than enough room to experiment with over 700 unique items, more than 100 bosses, and dozens of other beloved systems. These developers understand the campaign quality must be high for new players entering PoE2 or the genre, but they also understand what comes after the campaign must be of the same quality.
Go.
No other ARPG has done this before. Path of Exile 2 will be the first. They're setting their bar high and seek to deliver an absolute mammoth amount of content, even upon
Oh my god! Daddy!
That's one thing that's like really big for me, is that like any game, I always get really impressed by games that the game really starts whenever you beat the game. Like Monster Hunter is like this, where it's like if you really want to do the hard shit, the real shit, well, beat the campaign and then you get to play the game. Like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink was kind of the same thing. Dragon's Dogma 2 kind of was like that too.
And plays beautiful.
To a lesser extent.
If this all works out, it'll be a spectacular evolution. And I'm pretty confident Grinding Gear Games shall succeed. Grinding Gear Games isn't a new dev on the block. They've been around a while, and while Path of Exile currently has three reasons why I'm confident it'll be an evolution of the ARPG genre. First, the developers are intentionally making delays and pushing back against both large swaths of the community and their publishers. They are cognizant of the fact that Path of Exile 2 before it is released. It cannot.
Oh my god!
This is a big thing that I think that a lot of developers are starting to realize, is that if you release a game and it's bad, it's a bad game. That's it. People have already decided bad game. And people don't like to change their opinion either. Like, think about like Diablo 4. Diablo 4 right now is in a pretty good state, in my opinion, right? Some people might disagree, but I think it's in a pretty good state. And a lot of the people that are playing it agree with me. But here's the issue. Is the D4 bad? Remember? You guys remember D4 bad? Yeah, right? Okay, so how could D4 be in a good state if D4 bad?
Now.
It's impossible.
Consent are happy with the fact that Path of Exile 2's early access, which was supposed to start in about 2 weeks on June 7, 2024, is now delayed until the end of the year. As Jonathan Rogers has said about PoE2's development, with every few months that pass by, they're leaving money on the table for both slower PoE1 development and having PoE2 staying behind the scenes longer and longer.
I haven't seen that boss fight. That's fucking badass.
They are keen on getting this game released in its proper state with every ounce of evolution we've outlined in this video, and that's a good thing.
Well, it's also like, I mean, Philly has brought in undercooked leaves, right? Like, I mean, he made the example of Calandra. Like, whenever Lake of Calandra came out, people hated it. People seem to not like the new Necropolis League, too. I'm not really sure why. I didn't really play the league, so I'm not to it. But I know that, like, that's happened. So, like, if the game is problematic, the players will go absolutely fucking ballistic. And they know that.
Second, Grinding Gear Games has a proven track record, and they are a company we can trust. No matter your opinion on Path of Exile 1, they've been running the game for over 8 decades, built upon its foundation over and over, evolving the ARPG genre with patch after patch. The game began as a bare-bones
Put it in the trash.
to Diablo 2, which was a game beloved by at least one of Grinding Gear Games' founders, Chris Wilson, and turned it into a titan of the gaming industry, helping propel up a small indie company into a true...
You know, I actually used to play that build. The Frosthaven Inquisitor, and then the Frostshop one where you would farm like the wasteland.
Force to be recognized.
Yeah.
Here's Path of Exile 1 in 2010. Here's Path of Exile 1 in 2015. Here's Path of Exile 1 in 2020. And here's Path of Exile 1 now. The game has evolved over time thanks to the very same
You're so stupid.
PoE2. Seriously, PoE2 is almost an evolution many of us are searching for.
And you can see, like, visually, PoE2 has already been released, right? Like, I would say that the boss, I forgot the boss's name, the boss down on the stars, like,
Lifestyle 2 has a clear vision, with minor touch-ups being done by others and input from the greater PoE and ARPG community. However, and this is key, the game is being designed with a very pointed purpose in mind by someone who is clearly envisioning what they think is the best action role-playing game that can currently be made. Yes, I am merely summarizing the role of game director, the role of Mr. Jonathan Rogers. That's a role that is lacking in many games that have AAA budgets and quality as of late. I don't want to rag on Diablo 4 too much,
Ain't got nothing on Florida.
That's a clear example of a similar style game.
Well, Diablo 4, like, what happened is that Diablo 4 tremendously damaged the game, and they damaged the brand by releasing it without listening to what the players wanted. Because a lot of the changes now that Diablo 4 has are things that people wanted in the beta. People were talking about, like, for example, like full Paragon respecs or full skill board respecs back then. Everybody was asking for this, and people were saying like, "Oh yeah, the way that like the codex worked is stupid." But I think that every problem that Diablo has is completely self-inflicted. They actively ignored the community. People were begging. They were saying, "Please don't do this. Please don't add this into the game. Please don't make it." And they said, "No, you're gonna have to do it again." And guess what? Now everybody hates the fucking game, and it's gonna. I don't think Diablo 4 will be able to recover until they can. In order to recover from like all of the negative press and negative attention, everybody collectively, yeah. I think that, like, for example, if you look at like the sentiment, general sentiment about the game is very negative.
And competitor that did not have a dedicated vision or game director. Instead, the game appears or in a far sharper frame of speech. A game designed to appeal to as many people
How do you hit the key backwards?
obviously care about how much profit the game makes. How fast it is designed and how decisions are made within the game itself.
That's really the problem that a lot of games have nowadays, is that they're always making decisions without the context of what the people that are actually making it think. Because I bet there are probably some guys that work on the Diablo 4 team, and probably some guys that are at the top of the Diablo 4 team, who actually, if you talk to them, they really know their shit. They know what they're talking about. They're not stupid. But the problem is that sometimes, like, decisions get made that, you know, like, that's it. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna release it at this time. That's all there is to it. Yeah. And they're not the only ones making it.
And it's honestly one of the largest reasons
What are you doing?
You'll definitely watch this video right now to get the full cinematic rundown on the game's journey from its inception in 2017 to where we are in the present 2024.
Yeah, I think just a second. We saw this one already.
And the fact that
I
he's
completely
throwing
agree.
it all over the
I think that
floor.
PoE 1, like PoE 2 doesn't need to do what PoE 1 does, because PoE 1 is already doing that. And if you look at the quality of, for example, the Sanctum, you look at the quality of like the there's like necro areas. I don't remember like what they are. There's the video right there. I really like his videos, talking of Tree's videos, and I'm gonna be real, like, it would be great to see more people talking about these other ARPGs and how they're evolving, right? And I think that's one of the biggest weaknesses. Thanks for watching. Yeah, thanks for making a video. He's in chat. There he is. And yeah, make sure to give it a like. I mean, as I said, like, he's probably one of the only people that's like making a lot of like PoE, like meta level videos. So I really appreciate those. One thing I would add is almost invisible projectiles that one-shot you should be super visible or something. Well, I think that this is the best way to look at it, is that most of the things that people die to in PoE are things that happen within less than half of a second. Like, there's very rarely people that just make a mistake or something, unless, like, they're really tired and they go into a reflect map, they hit one mob, and they're insta-dead. And, like, also, how many times have, like, people gone and done, like, death recaps or, like, death analysis? Speed. to try to find the frame
20
that
bucks, you busted.
they can explain why the death happened in. That's awful. It's stupid, especially when, and like in PoE it wouldn't matter as much, but the reason why it does matter is because in Path of Exile, what ends up happening is you lose experience when you die. So not only is the game illegible, but it punishes you for the fact that
It looks like the picture!
And I understand that obviously a very good player can overcome a lot of those issues, but an average player will get demoralized, and I don't see this being a good good relationship that a person has to have with the game. You also you have no ideas on what needs to improve. Yeah, exactly. It's very hard to say. Pretty sucks losing 40% experience in the late 90s. Yeah, well, I think you lose 10% to death.
No! Hold on!
Yeah, exactly. Of course. Yeah, well, it'll happen to them once or twice. And also, like, for example, this is another issue that I think that PoE needs to fix for PoE 2. Is so you have like this is like an average elite, and this is how big an elite can be in terms of power level. This is too big of a gap. Like, you can go from fighting an elite that will just die in 1 second that you never even see him, and then the next elite will do literally more damage than a Panther. And the difference is random. It comes out of nowhere. And the way that you play the game trains you to just ignore these things, because you have, and I'm going to explain why this is happening. Well, I'm going to tell you how it happened.
Oh my god!
Just a second. 50% times 30% plus 10% added onto 150 days plus 10% nature damage.
Oh no!
Plus,
Get up!
let's see, you know, oh yeah, auto crits plus 10%, 100% damage on crits, plus crits ignore armor, plus 50%
Are you
plus
swinging?
map
Yeah?
modifiers.
You stuck?
He's there.
That's an issue. And that issue was not as bad in, yeah, like 400%. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go, 400%. On crits,